Hello dear students. So today I would like to present before you a short poem titled Animals by Walt Whitman, and I will be presenting it in the form of this PowerPoint. So in this poem we get to see the poet wishing to live with animals so as to experience a life where no one complains and where everyone is free of sins and sorrows. The poet also tries to draw a comparison between animals and humans, and he shows how animals are better than humans as they are more empathetic than humans. He says that humans have lost the true meaning of life in this fast-paced life, while animals still enjoy the true beauty of life nature. He feels that animals are calm and self-contained and happy with the resources they have. And he also stresses on the fact that humans have lost their sanity while chasing for material goods. He somehow feels that he would be happy if he was an animal rather than a human, and says that he enjoys the company of animals and wants to transform himself into an animal in order to understand what helps them establish their lifestyle. The poet Walt Whitman was an American poet, essayist, and journalist. He was born on 31st May 1819, and he is among the most influential poets in the American canon, often called the father of free verse. He died on 26th March 1892. Let me now explain the poem stanza-wise. So in the first stanza, what we get to see is that the poet wants to live in a world of animals, and he has his own reasons for it. So he feels that animals are better than human beings, as he does not see any animals running after worldly things like human beings do. He also is of the opinion that animals are more calm and have no greed for worldly things or any kind of achievement. They are more self-contained or self-satisfied, and they never interfere in the lives of others like humans do. So this is the reason why he wants to become an animal, and also because of these reasons he stands still and looks at animals for a very long time. So that was stanza 1 for you. Now let's move over to the literary devices. And for many of you who are wondering what these are, well, they are nothing but techniques that writers use in order to highlight important concepts and express their ideas so as to enhance the writings. So having said that, let us see the literary devices used here. So the device used here is assonance. Now assonance or vowel rhyme is the repetition of vowel sounds across the line of text or poetry. The words have to be near enough to each other so that the similar vowel sounds are noticeable. For example, the use of vowel sounds like I think, I live with animals. So repetition of the vowel sound I. And then we have another literary device called repetition. Now what is repetition? Repetition is repeating words or phrases or lines, and sometimes even stanzas. It is done to emphasize a feeling or idea and create a rhythm or develop a sense of inquiry. For example, in this stanza we get to see the repetition of the word long. For example, I stand and look at them long and long. So in stanza 2, we get to see the reasons cited by the poet as to why he longs to live in an animal world. The poet says that unlike humans, animals do not complain of any misery, nor fret and fume or cry out loud like humans do to show what they have lost. Animals also never stay awake in the night, crying in repentance for their wrongdoings. He feels that animals are different from human beings because they do not show anger or grief if something wrong happens to them. And he somehow feels that animals are more truthful because they never boast of their good deeds done in the name of God like humans do. Animals, for the poet, do not try to gain popularity among their fellows by resorting to any wrong or improper means. Rather, animals are very satisfied with whatever they possess, and they are not crazy about running after materialistic things. The poet also says that he has never seen any animal showing their devotion to anyone by bowing down. In fact, he feels that they never do that even, in front of their ancestors. And they also do not show devotion towards God like humans do. In a world of animals, everyone is equal, unlike a human society where the rich people are generally given more importance and are treated with more respect as compared to the poor. The poet is of the opinion that everyone in the animal world is happy and satisfied, and that they are not like humans who find themselves the happiest or the saddest person on earth. These are the reasons why the poet says that he accepts the fact that animals are true towards showing their relationship with other animals. Now coming to the literary device. The first literary device used here is anaphora, and that refers to line 5th and 6th. They do not lie awake, they do not make me sick. So the words "they do not" has been repeated here. An anaphora means repetition of a certain word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses, or the use of word referring back to a word used earlier to avoid repetition. So that is anaphora for you. The next device used here is metaphor, which means comparison of two similar things by saying that one of them is the other. So that you get to see in line number 4. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. Well, sweating and whine is something that we talk of when we refer to the cries and complaints of humans. So that is metaphor. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. And the last device used here in this stanza is repetition. Now, repetition is repeating of words and phrases or lines done to emphasize a feeling or idea, or create a rhythm or develop a sense of urgency. And that you get to see again in line number 5 and 6. They do not sweat, they do not lie awake. So that is repetition for you. The words "they do not" has been repeated here. So at the end of the poem, we get to see the poet introspecting himself and wondering where the qualities that were earlier found in human beings in the past, qualities like innocence, kindness, truthfulness, have vanished. He's also seen questioning himself as to how the animals retained these qualities while he, along with mankind, negligently left them far behind. So with that, we come to the end of the poem. And let me not forget to mention here that this poem does not have any rhyme scheme whatsoever, and that it has been written in free verse form. So free verse means something that does not use consistent meter patterns, rhyme, or any musical pattern. Oh yes, and one thing more, let us not forget to mention the message that the poet wants to convey here. The poet wants us humans to live a contented and peaceful life like the animals do. And he says that we should not indulge in amassing wealth, as that will only make us greedy, selfish, and lead us in committing crime and sins, and eventually leading us to repent for our mistakes or follies and have sleepless nights. So thank you. I hope you all liked the poem.